series is actually just working on your Clevertouch. So again, I am currently in our Android version of our Clevertouch. So you will notice on either side of your screen, you will have arrows. This is simply just for easy access. So whether I'm teaching from the left or the right, I have easy access to all my apps. All right, so now a few things just before we get started on that. Please make sure your date and time is correct. So to do that, you will simply go into your settings. So what you would do is you would go apps, you would go settings, and then you would go into your date and time. So mine might look slightly different to yours. I am working off my LUX. So mine will say system and I change date and time. Right, the other thing from here is please, you can also in your settings change your wallpaper. So if you wanted to put your school logo, you could do so from there. Okay, if you are working from the OPS side, your Windows device, typically a school has already preset that, or the Department of Education has preset that already, and all your apps are loaded. So then you don't need to worry. So this is really just if you want to customize the Android version for yourself. The other thing you can also change here, I know many classrooms have a very specific name. So if we wanted to change this to a classroom number, tap 5 times, and you could then go and change that. Okay. Now, accessing everything on the side. So our whiteboard, this one in particular is set to our LUX whiteboard. I will leave that for our last part of the series of videos, but you can again in your settings change that if you just wanted our basic whiteboard. So I will leave the whiteboard for just now. In terms of Finder, this is where you can store your files as well as obviously connect to your cloud drives. Now bear in mind, our screens are like your phone or your tablet. The more you put on there, the slower they become. So if you do have internet connectivity, I would advise then, and if it is your school policy and you've got a school account, to save to your OneDrive or your Google Drive. Right, and how you would do that is I would go to select Cloud Drive. Obviously, I've already added my OneDrive, but I can simply go add account, and you would add your Google Drive and your OneDrive as you would on any device. Okay. The other option, of course, is if you had a memory stick. All our screens have USB in front and on the side of the displays. If your school allows, you can obviously put in a memory stick there, and you could then save content to and from that. So obviously you can connect your cloud accounts. If I've worked on a document on the screen, I can save it directly onto the screen. But again, if you are sharing screens with teachers, just be mindful of your content on the device. The other option, like I said, is obviously a USB. You will notice all our screens do have USB ports in the front and on the side. If I simply plug that in, it will then open up. Okay. And now here I have my my content or my documents. So if I wanted to, obviously I could go and simply open. So I can open a PDF, I can open the PowerPoint, right? So let's go here, open the PDF, right? And it's going to ask me how I want to open this. Do I want to open it in PDF Viewer, or do I want to open it in LUX Whiteboard or Word, depending what app you have saved on your device. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to go open this in a PDF reader. I will show you just now how it works in LUX. Right, so here we go. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our PDF reader open. Okay, so now from here, obviously I can go and pan. Oops, I closed that, sorry. Open it again, there we go. So you can obviously pinch and zoom. I can scroll down. Okay. Now the important thing here is what I want to show you next while I've got this document open. let's take 5. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to access your USB content, and like I said, depending what apps you have downloaded, you can then pick and choose how you want to open it. I'll come back to this document shortly. Right, so next, if I just go home for a second, so that's obviously your files or your Finder, depending which version of screen you have. Then browser, Google-based browser, not much I need to go into there. Obviously, please note if you do not have connectivity at your school, obviously the browser will not open. Okay, we'll come back to that. But yeah, your typical Chrome browser. Okay, then obviously my active area. So yours might look slightly different, but this just allows you to open or view your pages that you have opened and then navigate from there. Okay, so let's just go back here then. So you see, very easy to navigate, very much like your cell phone or tablet. Okay. From there, obviously, you can lock your screen. Okay. I would advise you do get a remote with your screen. So instead of locking it there, please use your remote. This will allow you, if I just press the blue button, for example, this will allow you to freeze your screen. So what you would do is you will hold the remote to your screen, okay? And then simply just press the different buttons. There we go. So you will notice it will then lock your screen. Okay, so in terms of using the remote, like I said, simply unlock and lock using the different colors. Okay, then the other thing is, yeah, just keep this safe away from the students. Right, next, accessing your apps. So mine again will look a bit different. I am working off our Google certified display. Yours, what you will have, if you're using our Max or our M3, you will have access, provided you have internet connectivity, you will have access to our Clevertouch store. This is Clevertouch's app store, where you can download a multitude of apps from there. If you are using the LUX or the X5, you can download the apps directly from the Play Store. Okay. But what I wanted to go into here now was, if I just go into my apps, was our whiteboard. So again, like I mentioned, with Clevertouch, you get your links whiteboard and you get your basic whiteboard. So this is our basic whiteboard. Okay, let me just maximize it. Okay, so from here, I just want to start over. Okie dokes. So the basic whiteboard, what you are able to do, or what it really, the function of it, it will replace your chalkboard. It will replace your normal whiteboard, your glass board. Okay, it is meant for writing, saving and sharing notes. Right. So if you're a teacher who really enjoys writing, I know a lot of our accounting, our maths, our science teachers, then this is great for you because it also has that unbound workspace. Okay, so starting off, my hamburger menu in the side, simply select that. I can now go and change my theme or background. So again, depending what version, slightly different wording. Right, so from here, I'm just going to go change the color. I think let's stick to our chalkboard. I might want some lines, so let me go put my lines in, and if I'm happy with that. And you will notice this is not just for classroom, but if you're teaching sports as well, some really great sport templates built in here too. Okay, so I go in there. Now what I'm able to do is pick up my stylus. So please note, when you get your Clevertouch, I've already gone through the cables, but you should have an HDMI and USB cable, as well as a USB-C and 2 stylus pins. So again, it depends on your school policy as to whether they give you 2 immediately or they keep 1. It just depends. But please note, our Clevertouch works with stylus and finger as well. So if you don't have your stylus, don't panic. But there is a really nice feature built in around our stylus. Okay, so what you will do is you'll notice the first icon is my pencil. So here I can go and select different types of pencils. I can go and select my thickness. So I'm just going to go and make the first one white. Second one, I will go and make what's a good color? Ooh, let's go with black. But the black one I'm going to make really thin. Okay, so now if I just go out of that, we can write here. Right, now you'll notice if I turn my stylus around that I have a different color. Okay, so that's a really nice thing in our basic whiteboard, with the ability to change your different colors. Okay, my next image is my eraser. So if I just select that, if I made a mistake with one thing, I can simply just select it and erase, or I can use my my fist and I can clear a section, or my palm, depending which one you are comfortable with. If I have now made a mistake and unfortunately I erased too much, you do have a back button and you can bring that back. Okay. Of course, the next item, you were able just to clear the entire page. You don't have to sit through and erase everything. Okay. Before I get to my shapes, and the next one, you will see this icon is a little finger. Your whiteboard might have a little palm. What that is, that's our unbound workspace. So if I select that once, okay, select that, it's a double tap on it, it will give you the entire board. Okay, if I selected that once now, I can move this out the way. So you'll see I'm now moving my board out the way. Okay. Next one that was between the complete clear and the palm are my shapes. So let's say I want to go bring in, let's just do 2D. There we go. Let's go bring in a 3D of the same thing. Right, and then like I said, if you double tap now on your palm and I go back, I can go back to where I was earlier. Okay, and there I have my Clevertouch. But again, if I wanted to see my shapes, I could simply manipulate this and go back and forth between my content. Okay. Lastly is obviously we have a paint palette. So really nice for art teachers, or if you've got foundation phase learners, a really nice palette built in there. Okay. But sticking to the basics here, obviously this unbound workspace I can go save as a PDF or an image. Just bear in mind when you're sharing it, it's obviously going to share as one large canvas. If you want to stick to your basic pages, you can then simply just go and add pages. Okay. Now, again, if I wanted to save this and share it, what you would do is I would go back to my hamburger menu. I would go export, okay? So I could export it as a PDF, or I could go and save it, okay? So now, remember I spoke about connecting your cloud drive. So you can go and save it into your cloud drive, okay? But again, you need to have connected your cloud drive. Or you can go save it onto your flash stick, okay? Or save it onto the screen. So it really depends up to you what you want to do, okay, and how you want to save it. So again, if you just say save, it's going to save as a whiteboard file that you can come back to tomorrow, the next day, whenever. If I export, I can export as PDF or an image, okay. Or I think one of my favorite options is the ability to bring up your QR code. So you will notice it's the third item, a little icon on the complete left. Bring up my QR code. This will unfortunately only work if you do have connectivity in the classroom. Scan the QR code, I have it on my device, and I can then WhatsApp it to the students, or if students are allowed devices in the classroom, they can simply scan the notes as well. But just remember, for this one, you do have to have connectivity and have to be on the same network. Okay, and that's our basic whiteboard. Very simple, very easy to use, and a great tool in terms of taking notes and explaining concepts.